A young man, living in a cozy apartment in the heart of the city. His name is Alex. He's in his early 20s, a college student juggling studies and part-time work. One evening, while getting ready for an important online class presentation, Alex notices that the kitchen sink is clogged. The water won't drain, and it starts filling up rapidly. Frustrated and running out of time, he decides to call a plumber. The plumber arrives half an hour later. His name is Liam, a tall, rugged man in his 30s. He's dressed in a work shirt and jeans, carrying his tools. Alex opens the door, and the two exchange a brief glance. Liam's deep blue eyes and casual smile catch Alex off guard. Alex quickly explains the problem, and Liam nods, assuring him that it's a simple fix. As Liam starts working under the sink, Alex can't help but sneak a few glances. There's something about the way Liam moves, focused and confident, that Alex finds intriguing. He tries to distract himself by sitting at the kitchen table, pretending to focus on his work, but his mind keeps wandering back to the man just a few feet away. Liam finishes the job quickly. He tests the water, and everything drains smoothly. Alex thanks him and offers a drink as a gesture of appreciation. Liam, wiping his hands with a towel, accepts. They sit down at the small kitchen table, the atmosphere unexpectedly comfortable. They start chatting, first about casual things, the weather, work, and school. But soon, the conversation becomes more personal. Liam tells Alex about how he got into plumbing, a trade he picked up from his father. Alex, in turn, talks about his struggles balancing school and work. They laugh over shared frustrations and find common ground in their different but similarly demanding lives. As the evening goes on, the connection between them grows. Alex notices how Liam's smile softens when he talks about things he's passionate about, and Liam becomes more curious about Alex's life, asking thoughtful questions that make Alex feel seen. After a while, the air in the room feels different. There's a quiet tension, the kind that hovers just before something shifts. Alex, feeling a mix of nerves and excitement, can't shake the thought that Liam is more than just a friendly plumber. The way their eyes meet, the casual brushes of their hands, it all feels electric. Liam stands to leave, thanking Alex for the drink. But before he goes, he pauses, turning back. His voice is low when he speaks. "I don't usually do this," he says, his gaze locking with Alex's. "But I feel like there's something here." Alex's heart races. He stands too, taking a step closer. The air feels charged, like everything is about to change. Neither of them speaks for a moment, the silence heavy with unspoken words. And then, in a moment of quiet courage, Alex leans in. The kiss is tentative at first, both of them unsure but undeniably drawn to each other. But soon, it deepens, slow and gentle, as if they're discovering something they didn't know they were missing. When they finally pull back, Liam looks at Alex with a smile that's both warm and teasing. "I guess I'll have to check the sink again," he says, his voice light, but the meaning clear. They laugh softly, the tension between them easing into something more comfortable, more familiar. The evening stretches on, and what started as a simple repair turns into the beginning of something that had been a long week for Alex. Between juggling classes, a part-time job, and assignments piling up, his small apartment had become a refuge. A place where he could unwind, focus, and reset. But as he stood by the kitchen sink that evening, staring down at the murky water that refused to drain, his sanctuary seemed to turn against him. The sink gurgled, the water rising, and no matter what Alex did, plunging, using a drain snake, or even boiling water, it only seemed to make things worse. With a sigh, he pulled out his phone and searched for a plumber. After a few calls to local services, he managed to book one who could come over in an hour. He paced around the apartment, tidying up while waiting for the plumber. His mind wandered to the mountain of tasks he still had to complete for his college courses. And on top of that, his latest shift at the cafe had been rough. Customers were particularly impatient that day, and his manager had been on edge. He sighed again, glancing at the clock. It was nearing 7 in the evening when there was a knock at the door. Alex rushed to answer it, and when he opened it, he froze for a moment. Standing in the hallway was the plumber, and he wasn't at all what Alex had expected. His name was Liam, judging by the name embroidered on the chest of his worn-out work shirt. He was tall, at least 6 feet, with a rugged build that made it clear he did manual labor for a living. His dark hair was slightly tousled, and his sharp jawline was covered in the lightest hint of stubble. But it was his eyes that threw Alex off. Their deep blue seemed to hold a certain warmth despite his otherwise tough exterior. "Hey, I'm Liam," the plumber said, his voice deep but friendly. "You called about a clogged sink?" Alex snapped out of his daze and nodded, stepping aside to let Liam in. "Yeah, it's been backing up all day. I tried fixing it myself, but," he trailed off, embarrassed that he couldn't handle something so simple. Liam chuckled softly as he set his toolbox on the counter. "Don't worry about it. That's what I'm here for." As Liam crouched down to inspect the sink, Alex tried not to stare. There was something captivating about the way the man moved, so sure of himself, so effortless. He leaned against the doorway, his eyes wandering over Liam's broad shoulders as the plumber worked under the sink. For the next few minutes, Alex kept himself busy, pretending to check emails on his phone but unable to keep his eyes from darting back to Liam. He watched as the plumber tightened a few pipes, his hands strong and capable. "All done," Liam said, standing up and wiping his hands on a rag. "It was a simple blockage. Should be good as new now." "Thanks so much," Alex replied, relief washing over him. "I was worried it would be something major." "Nope, just a bit of build-up. Happens to the best of us." Liam flashed a quick smile, and Alex felt his stomach flutter unexpectedly. "Can I get you something to drink? Water, maybe?" Alex asked, wanting to keep Liam around a little longer. He wasn't ready for this moment to end just yet. Liam hesitated for a second, then shrugged. "Sure, water sounds good." As Alex poured him a glass, he realized just how quiet the apartment had become. The usual hum of the city outside seemed distant, as if the space had shrunk to just the two of them. He handed the glass to Liam, their fingers brushing for a split second. The touch sent a small, almost imperceptible spark through Alex's hand, but he quickly dismissed it, not wanting to overthink things. "So, how long have you been in the plumbing business?" Alex asked, taking a seat at the small kitchen table. "A little over 10 years now," Liam replied, leaning against the counter. "Started working with my dad when I was a teenager. Just stuck with it." "Wow, that's impressive," Alex said. "I can barely keep up with my part-time job at the cafe, let alone do something like this." Liam chuckled. "It's not all that glamorous, trust me. But it pays the bills, and I like working with my hands." There was a moment of silence as Alex sipped his water, feeling the weight of the conversation shift. He glanced at Liam, noticing how the soft evening light filtered through the window, highlighting the contours of the plumber's face. It wasn't just his physical appearance that drew Alex in, there was something about Liam's presence that made him feel comfortable, grounded in a way he hadn't expected. "So, what do you do when you're not unclogging sinks?" Alex asked, smiling. Liam smiled back, setting the glass on the counter. "I've got a few hobbies. I like to hike, work on cars when I have the time. Pretty standard stuff." Alex nodded, his interest piqued. "That sounds nice. I haven't been hiking in ages. School's been kind of all-consuming lately." Liam tilted his head. "What are you studying?" "Architecture," Alex said, feeling a mix of pride and exhaustion. "It's tough, but I love it. Just wish I had more free time." Liam's gaze softened as he listened. "Sounds like you're passionate about it. That's what matters." There was a pause, the kind that didn't feel awkward but rather filled the space between them with a quiet, unspoken understanding. Alex felt the tension growing again, that same subtle pull that had been simmering beneath the surface since Liam had walked through the door. "Anyway, I should probably get going," Liam said, breaking the silence, though there was something hesitant in his tone. He reached for his toolbox, but as he did, his eyes met Alex's, and for a moment, neither of them moved. Alex stood too, heart racing. He didn't know where the sudden surge of confidence came from, but he stepped closer to Liam, their faces just inches apart. Do you want to stay for a bit?" Alex asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Liam's eyes searched Alex's face, and for a split second, it felt like the world had slowed down. Then, without another word, Liam leaned in, and their lips met in a soft, tentative kiss. The kiss was gentle at first, as if they were testing the waters, but soon it deepened, the heat between them building as their bodies pressed closer. Alex's hands found their way to Liam's chest, feeling the solid muscle beneath his shirt, while Liam's hands settled on Alex's waist, pulling him closer. When they finally pulled away, both of them breathless, Alex's heart was pounding in his chest. He stared at Liam, unsure of what to say, but the look in the plumber's eyes said everything. There was no need for words. They moved together again, this time more urgently. Liam's hands slid under Alex's shirt, his fingers tracing the lines of his torso, and Alex gasped at the sensation. He had never felt anything like this before, the intensity, the connection. It was overwhelming in the best way possible. Liam guided Alex toward the couch, their lips never breaking contact. As they sat down, Alex straddled Liam's lap, his hands tangling in the plumber's hair. Liam's hands roamed freely over Alex's body, their kisses growing hungrier with each passing second. For what felt like hours, they stayed like that, exploring each other, lost in the moment. The rest of the world seemed to disappear, and all that mattered was the way Liam's hands felt on Alex's skin, the way their bodies fit together so perfectly. Eventually, they slowed down, their kisses turning soft and lingering. Alex rested his forehead against Liam's, breathing heavily, his heart still racing. He didn't know what this meant, whether it was just a fleeting moment or something more, but for now, he didn't care. All that mattered was that they were here, together. "You're something else," Liam murmured, his voice low and rough, sending shivers down Alex's spine. Alex smiled, feeling a warmth spread through his chest. "So are you." They sat there in silence for a while, holding each other, the evening light fading into darkness outside the window. Alex knew that this was just the beginning of something new, something he hadn't expected, but something he was more than ready to explore. The next morning, Alex woke up to the sound of soft footsteps in the kitchen. He rubbed his eyes and sat up, realizing he had fallen asleep on the couch. Liam was still there, standing by the counter, making coffee. "Morning," Liam said with a smile, glancing over at Alex. Alex stretched, feeling a pleasant soreness in his body from the night before. "Morning." Liam handed him a mug of coffee and sat down beside him. For a moment, they sipped their drinks in comfortable silence, the events of the previous night still fresh in their minds. "So," Liam said after a while, setting his mug down. "What now?" Alex looked at him, a small smile tugging at his lips. "I don't know. But I'd like to find out." Liam nodded, his eyes warm and understanding. "Me too." And with that, they sat together, enjoying the quiet morning, both knowing that whatever came next, they were ready for it, together.